Russel Brand has been accused of rape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse during a 7-year period at the height of his fame, actually. He is, again, a comedian, an actor, and most recently, a YouTube host of a show called Stay Free that has a very suspiciously obvious looking logo that we'll look at in a little bit. And because of all these accusations, oh yeah, he's our Monday Menace. Finally, not a political Monday Menace, just a celebrity with rape accusations. Another Monday. So 4 women have alleged that Brand sexually assaulted them between 2006 and 2013 while he was a BBC presenter and acting in Hollywood films. A joint investigation among the Sunday Times, The Times, and Channel 4 dispatches found. Other accusations include Brand's controlling, abusive, and predatory behavior. Again, so fairly well documented. A lot of these women were reached out to by media outlets. The first woman told the news outlets that Brand raped her against a wall in Los Angeles, where she was treated at a rape crisis center the same day. The investigation also found text messages between the woman and Brand. She messaged him saying, quote, "When a girl says no, it means no." The actor allegedly replied and said he was very sorry. That sounds like an admission of guilt, but hey, I'm no lawyer. But there we go. We have a rape crisis center the same day, so there's DNA evidence and a text message. Anyway, we'll see what his excuse is. It's coming up. Another woman, however, alleged that the comedian assaulted her when he was 31 and she was 16. She explained that he called her the child during their emotionally abusive and controlling relationship that lasted for around 3 months. She also claimed that he forced his penis down her throat, made her choke, and only backed off when she punched him in the stomach. Finally, a third woman told outlets that Brand sexually assaulted her while she worked for him in LA and said that he threatened to take legal action if she went public with what happened. The fourth woman also alleged the actor sexually assaulted her and was physically and emotionally abusive toward her. But the kicker on all this, of course, is the just out and out excuse and non-apology from Russel Brand himself on his own show, denying all of these accusations, and listen to how he does it.
Amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent, and I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play?
Ooh, there we go. Is there another agenda? So it's not bad enough that he's been, as he says, falsely accused. He's got to misdirect and tell you that it's a broader conspiracy, which has kind of been his bread and butter as of late. Take a look how he continues.
I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack.
Maybe if I use more gesticulations, it will seem like I am more innocent, but I'm not actually. For very credible, very multiply confirmed instances, but I'm sorry. This dude is so full of it, Senator. I cannot with him. And he was in the Minions movie like last year. Like, talk about like not mainstream. He's still mainstream. He's just also doing the like YouTube conspiracy theorist lane as well. But your thoughts?
I mean, being promiscuous and admitting it is one thing. Being accused of rape is another. And he has to come to grips with those facts, and it is disturbing. Rape in and of itself is extraordinarily disturbing, period. And I'm gonna put an especially on there when it is a young child, 16 years old to a 31-year-old. Really, dude, really. So, the courts, we're gonna just duke this out in court. But for him to try, to me, it seems like Francesca, he's trying to get away with saying that he was so open about his promiscuity that I told you I was like this. But no, what you didn't say is that you was forcing women and girls to have sex with you. That part you left, or allegedly. Let me put allegedly out there. Allegedly. So this will have to be duped out in court. But the way he's comporting himself right now, I do get the feeling that he's trying to use promiscuity as a way to absolve him of the allegations.
And that's a major defense mechanism for predators and rapists, which is, it's basically they're saying you're kink shaming them, right? That they were sleeping around and how dare you? And like, no one's saying that, bro.
If it's consensual, hey.
Exactly. Exactly, and he knows that. That's why he's saying consensual over and over again. He's trying to again, voodoo mind trick. If I do this, I'll just incept all of the lies. And I guess it's working, not only on the base that he's built online, people who've liked some of the other things he has to say, which we'll go in on, but from the richest man in the world who owns one of the biggest platforms in the world, Elon Musk, who tweeted, "I support Russel Brand. That man is not evil. Can I interest you in this horse?" Also, no one's saying he's evil. I don't understand. I guess he's a criminal, right? He's a rapist. He might be a rapist. Then he added, of course, they don't like competition. And this was in direct response to Russel Brand's attacks on the media. Oh, but then another ghoul had to jump onto the ghoul pile. Here you go, Tucker Carlson, Tucker on X said, criticize the drug companies, question the war in Ukraine, and you can be pretty sure this is going to happen. No, you can't. There are a lot of people who criticize drug companies and the war in Ukraine. Do they all have rape allegations out there? I don't know. Not sure. But interesting that you're a little bit hat tipping that you also have rape allegations, Tucker Carlson, who, and Nina, I know you're on the socials on Blue Sky. You crushed it on Blue Sky. But I just think it's funny. Someone said that why has Tucker Carlson changed his avatar to look like the World War, or no, the Great Depression woman, sort of her face all dirty. His new avatar is him just being super downtrodden. I just thought that was funny. Of course, then you have Cat Turd TM. In case anyone wanted to steal the name, Cat Turd TM saying, when you speak truth to, I don't know, what is Cat Turd's voice? When you speak truth to power, I think it's a kid. I think it's a child, and your voice gets big enough to change hearts and minds. This is what the New World Order does to you. Oh God, Julian Assange. Why are we throwing Julian Assange in here?
Why
are we just random President Trump, Andrew Tate jailed without charges? Russell, there were charges for Andrew Tate. It was human trafficking, you idiot. Russel Brand, these people are pure evil. Again with the evil, I don't know, we love to throw those words around. In case you weren't hip to what Russel Brand's been doing since Saving Sarah Marshall or any of the other films that he's been on, he's been very much a COVID conspiracy theorist. Here is a clip from his show called Stay Free. Note, the logo is basically a COVID virus, right? A particle. The spike protein that says stay free. I wonder what that's about. Take a look.
And it seems that this unique global event, the pandemic, brought together so many convergent interests, a desire for the increased ability to surveil, the desire for more control in populations that are increasingly harder to control when there are counter narratives, the ability to censor more, the ability for big pharma to make profits. It seemed like so many things came together simultaneously that the facts were being lost, massaged, manipulated, neglected, negated, and that clearly happens in the pharmaceutical industry anyway. As my limited understanding of how drugs are trialed, they can do numerous tests until they get the results that they want.
Right. So we're all just guinea pigs. And again, the kernel of truth is, we don't trust big pharma. We don't trust the ways that they infiltrate our political system and buy it. But instead, and it's fitting, Senator, that we started off this show talking about worker power since the pandemic. UAW strikes, workers like Starbucks workers and Amazon workers saying, hey, enough is enough, treating me like an essential worker during the pandemic. That's what the pandemic did. You're trying to talk about like conspiracy. It's a corporate conspiracy, right? To squeeze more and more from people to get more and more money. And then you have just this misdirection from someone like Russel Brand being like, no, it's actually about Fauci and the vaccines. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, final thoughts on this ghoul.
A lot of self-importance. And why is he so important? I mean, nobody should be targeted unfairly, but he's trying to make it seem like his opinions are so riveting that he is being targeted. I don't buy that. Now, these are allegations, and that is what the court of law is about. A court will decide whether the allegations are true or not true. But again, I gotta end the way that I started. Him trying to use the shield of sleeping around a whole lot. That dog, as they say in the South, is not going to hunt. The two things do not go together, being promiscuous and rape. Right, because people can be consenting adults, and you can sleep around till the cows come home or don't come home. If you are promiscuous and it's with consenting adults, then hey, no harm, no foul. But if you are promiscuous and you trying to force every situation to be one of a sexual nature, even so much so that you messing around with a 16-year-old, then something is wrong with you, and the courts will determine what is right and what is wrong. So whether or not he did it or he didn't do it, he will have his day in court. And that's why I keep stressing the allegations. But this is not a good look for this dude at all.
And it's unclear whether and how many charges will be pressed, or if this was just, it seems like at this point, it's an investigation into his past.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be any ongoing or open cases against him from what I can tell. But I just wanna say, he has been dropped by his management company, dropped by the BBC, and this is what's gonna happen. He's going to triple down on his online following. He's gonna quadruple down on these conspiracy theories. Why? Because he needs the money still. He's not gonna get booked on the next Minions movie. And what are they gonna say? They're gonna say, oh, you're trying to silence me. The mainstream media doesn't like a rapist. Oh, it's all woke. No, it's not. No, because guess what? Rape, not good for selling brands. Being a racist, not good for selling brands. Stop blaming corporations for being woke when they don't wanna have anything to do with your disgusting brand, bro. And by the way, you're gonna be fine because you're misleading a bunch of people on the internet about the vaccine, and have at it. You keep going, you'll have money. Google's not gonna take your money away, don't worry.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.